Here's something strange. Every morning, almost every human on Earth does the same thing. We wake up, and before leaving, we put something on. Not food, not shoes, clothes. And most of the time, we don't even question it. Imagine leaving your house without clothes, not because you forgot, on purpose. Most people would immediately feel uncomfortable. Not cold, uncomfortable. And that made me wonder, at what point did humans decide that being covered was normal? Because if you go back far enough, there were no clothes, at least not the way we imagine them. No shirts, no jackets, no closets, no, what should I wear today? Just people, which creates a strange image. Imagine two ancient humans standing outside. One day, one of them puts something over their body, and the other one says nothing. That's the weird part, because inventions usually solve obvious problems: fire, food, shelter, but clothes feel different. Because even today, people wear clothes in places where they don't really need them: inside, when it's warm, when nobody is around. So maybe clothes became more than protection. And if we think about it, humans are weird. Most animals don't care. A lion doesn't wake up and think, "Today I'm feeling more formal." A monkey doesn't look at another monkey and think, "That's inappropriate." But humans do. And maybe that didn't happen all at once, because early humans probably didn't suddenly invent fashion. It was probably much more boring than that. Cold, rain, wind, small adjustments. Maybe someone wrapped something around their shoulders. Someone copied. Someone improved it. And slowly, something practical became normal. But something strange happens once something becomes normal. Not doing it starts feeling strange. Think about shoes. Most of us could survive without shoes. But walking barefoot into a supermarket feels wrong. Not dangerous. Wrong. And clothes may work the same way. At first, clothes protected people. But after enough generations, clothes started protecting something else: social comfort. Imagine growing up your entire life, seeing everyone covered. Your brain slowly stops asking, "Why do people wear clothes?" and starts asking, "Why wouldn't they?" That small change might explain more than we think. Because humans are surprisingly good at turning habits into invisible rules. And the strange thing is, once a rule becomes invisible, it stops feeling like a rule. It starts feeling natural, even if someone invented it. Imagine explaining that to a child. Actually, children are interesting, because children don't naturally understand clothing rules. Children remove clothes randomly, run around, ignore social expectations. And adults react immediately, not because the child discovered something dangerous, but because the child ignored something invisible. And maybe that's one of the strangest human abilities. Humans create invisible agreements: money, weekends, personal space, waiting in lines. And maybe clothes became one of those agreements. Not laws, not instincts, just millions of people silently agreeing, "Yes, we do this now." And after enough generations, people stop remembering that there was ever another option. Which makes me wonder, if humans had never invented clothes, would being covered feel strange instead? Would we see clothing the way we see costumes? Would formal clothes look ridiculous? Would someone wearing a suit look like someone dressed as a pirate? That sounds absurd, but maybe only because we grew up inside the rule. And the strangest part is that most of us never notice the rule exists until somebody breaks it. But clothes didn't only change how humans looked. Maybe they changed how humans saw themselves. Because the moment you choose what to wear, something strange happens. You stop showing only your body. You start showing something else: identity, status, group, mood, culture. Think about how weird that is. Two people can wear the exact same body but completely different clothes, and suddenly they feel completely different. One looks serious, one looks relaxed, one looks powerful, one looks invisible. Nothing changed, except fabric. And somehow, that changes everything. Imagine explaining modern clothing to ancient humans. "These shoes are uncomfortable." Then why wear them? "They look good." What does that mean? And honestly, that would be difficult to explain, Because clothing stopped being purely practical a long time ago. Today, people wear clothes to communicate, sometimes without realizing it. Professional, casual, creative, rich, relaxed, athletic, formal. Sometimes people wear clothes for themselves, but sometimes people wear clothes for everyone else. To fit in, to stand out, to avoid attention, to attract attention. And maybe that's one of the strangest parts. Because clothing changes depending on where you are. Wear pajamas to sleep. Normal. Wear pajamas to a wedding. Different reaction. Wear a suit at the beach. People notice. Same clothes. Different place. And suddenly, something feels wrong. Which means, clothes aren't only about covering. They're about context. And context is strange. Because context only works if everybody agrees. Which means, millions of humans wake up, look at fabric, and silently ask, what should I be today? Without saying it, without thinking about it. And maybe that sounds dramatic, but think about it. Imagine opening your closet. You don't choose randomly. You already know. This one feels too serious. This one feels too relaxed. This one feels wrong. Which means your clothes are not only protecting your body anymore, they're helping organize your social world. And somehow, we all learned this, without noticing. Which creates one final strange question. If everyone around you wore something completely different, would you still wear what you wear today? Or would your idea of normal change completely? Because maybe the strangest thing about clothes is not that humans invented them, it's that humans became uncomfortable without them. And that's strange, because clothes are everywhere. So everywhere that we almost stop seeing them. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that nobody cares anymore. No clothing rules, no expectations, no normal. Would you wear the same things? Or would you slowly change just because everyone else changed? Because humans do that surprisingly often. Think about language, money, weekends, handshakes, personal space. Most of these things only work because enough people quietly agree. And maybe clothes became one of the strongest examples, not because somebody forced everyone, not because one person invented fashion, but because small practical decisions slowly became invisible expectations. Cold, rain, protection, then comfort, then habit, then identity, then normal. And after enough time, people stop remembering that normal was invented because somewhere, thousands of years ago, someone probably wrapped something around themselves for a practical reason and accidentally started one of the biggest social rules humans ever created. And somehow, that decision survived through generations, through countries, through languages, until today. And maybe that's the strange thing about humans. We don't only build houses, or tools, or cities. Sometimes we build invisible rules, and then we live inside them for so long that they start feeling natural. If you enjoyed this strange question, subscribe, because next time we'll think about something else that feels completely normal until we stop and ask, why?